Hey everyone, and the question is this: what happened to the Trump trade? So, the question is this: what happened to the Trump trade yesterday? And that is quite interesting topic. It's time to collect everyone. Now, what do I say by collecting? I mean that we need to make sure that we understand what happened and we want to take advantage of it. Let me share with you what I did yesterday. Um, we're going to start with the end, right? We're going to start with the end, and then I'm going to explain to you the thinking and how I got there. When you understand what needs to be done, when you understand the trade, what I did. So I'm going to share with you my Patreon channel. Look at this. Look at this trade. Look at the gain on Tesla yesterday. 8,400% on one trade for the December 20th. The December 20th Tesla call, which essentially is about 168% in 5 days or 33% a day. Then I had another one that I put on last week, 6,300%. Let us take a look at the Tesla chart. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, so you get notified on all things that I'm doing. Now, I'm not following the entire stock market, obviously. I'm following certain stocks, and I want to understand them all. I'm following Tesla, ACMR, GCT, SPY, and I'm starting to follow QQQ. So October 7th, right, we put some of the trades around that time. Why? Because it was an expectation of the October 10th, robotaxi, right? So the robotaxi is an important event because this is when the company was supposed did release all the information about the robotaxi, about SpaceX, about the everything having to do with the car and the shipments and the robots. So they did all these things, correct? So in October 7th, I'm looking at it. I'm saying, well, the stock has been overperforming above the 50-day moving average, an expectation. Okay, so it was moving up, and then somehow here something happened. It was overperforming. Look. Since September, it was just above the 50 moving average. And this is important for you to realize that you need to understand how the stock trades. This is extremely important because it has a life of its own. What is driving it? What is the story? That's what's important. So as you could see, it was trading above the 50 from September all the way to beginning of October. Okay. So it did this and then it broke through. So it breaks through. You figured, well, but the story is still continuing. Therefore, we are going to break out of this 50 moving average. But unfortunately, what happened, and I realized what happened, this is just about the time when Elon Musk was getting very close and close to Trump. Now, you have to realize that regardless of what your feelings are for Trump or for Kamala Harris, I'm very impartial. All I care about making money in the stock market. What happened is that the market, you have to understand that, and the reason why, Trump won and nobody realized that he, not so much what he won, but because why is it that people were surprised is because lots of people that like Trump, did not want to be vocal or seen. They all came out of the woodwork. So that was a big surprise. So at that time, when you thought that the stock was going to go up because it was closely associated, and you could see in the discussion, there was a recognition of Elon Musk because of his relationship with Trump. It became a Trump trade. Okay. And obviously, he came closely associated with it. So the story changed here. It wasn't anymore about the the robotaxi was he was way too close to Trump. So therefore, they were concerned that, you know what, she has a tremendous of momentum. She has a tremendous of people wanted. This is the hope. This is the glory, and therefore he's in trouble. Therefore, Elon Musk is in trouble. And this is why. This is why it's important to understand the quote unquote the story. The story is very important in the stock market because that's what drives the momentum. Right? The news will drive it, but the story, what is it that the market think is really going on? So, further ado, and later on, I will talk to you about what I'm doing now. But right now, look what happened. We dropped below and we stood below. And I say, you know what? Let's put a position here. Okay. And if you go to my Patreon channel, you'll see what the what is it that I the call that I put. But it comes out. This is the period for it's a disaster. Robotaxi event is around this time. I mean, the product is a product. The car is a car. Everything, nothing has changed. We're still talking about the same animal. The only thing is they just did not, quote unquote, provide enough information. They show you the car running around. They show you the robot saving the drinks. They told you about SpaceX. They told you about all these wonderful things he was working on. And he told you about the upcoming release. And they, you know what? They just vomited all over it. Stock went from 240 down to 210. And it remained there for the longest time. And obviously, Elon Musk was still going around Trump and presenting and giving $1 million, all these things that he did. And you could see during that period of time, right here, you could see during that time when when you heard analysts talking about Trump and talking about Elon Musk in the same word, in same breath, it was you could see that they just didn't like him. You could see that they were like, well, he should be, instead of going on the trail on helping Trump, he should be going out there in his factory and working, as if he's the one building the cars. Okay, that was kind of silly. But then eventually earnings came out. And as you could see, as when the earnings came out, we had this tremendous shot out. Well, because they realized that, listen, this is a great stock. I mean, this is a great company. Look at all the things they're doing. And this, frankly, with the situation with the robots, this could add trillions of dollars to the company. Then you got the robotaxi that's going to be around driving itself. I mean, yeah, I know it's a little tough to understand and comprehend and but it is something that is in the process of happening. And you could see, so now we recognize the value of it, and we are back in business. The interesting part of it is, unfortunately, and this is the cruelty of the option markets. That's where you have to be very careful, in that you really have to know the story and you really need to understand the stock. Even though the stock went back up here, I mean, if I had bought the stock, I would have made, right? I would have done okay. But because it was the option really didn't recover. It recovered enough to kind of give me a little bit of a gain, but nothing extraordinary. I sold, unwound the position, and then obviously as the position took off, as I unwound it on that day, I just saw it going kind of nowhere. The stock started shrinking down again. It's because it became really the Trump trade. Then it became, well, let's see if he helped them so much. Let's see if he is going to win. Because if he's not going to win, then Tesla would have wasted all of that time with Trump. So, and it kind of went down. And as you could see, as we approach November 5th, it was a disaster until, of course, yesterday, we just shot up to new levels. Now, we're not still yet at the market cap of $1 trillion, but we're getting there. As you could see, we went we went there. Okay, and at that level, you're going to into interesting territory. What I recommend that you do is that you take a look at my video that I put up. This is the one. Will Tesla reach $1 trillion in 2025? Go and take a look at it. Go and take a look at it because it will give you some good. No, I don't want to redo the whole video. Right now, we stand on the cost of something quite interesting. Why is it interesting? It is interesting because we've got Tesla out there, right? No, remember, it went up a lot. Okay, it went up a lot. So does it mean it could further go up? Well, I mean, we haven't reached a trillion yet. We're almost there. We're like at 800, 900, which is kind of my projection. But we're not there yet. Will we get there? We will. We will get there because, frankly, I mean, the company is the company. The company knows exactly what it's doing. The company has lots of things going for it. Elon Musk is very close to Trump. Now, be careful. Though. Having said that, I will tell you that Tesla is extremely volatile. Right now, everything is great. The thing is, if tomorrow Trump decides that, you know what, enough of this guy. I mean, he has had some very tenuous relationship in the past. You know, he is who he is. And then he gets swept aside. They're going to say, you see, he did get screwed at the end anyway. So you don't want that. So you have to watch very carefully. You have to watch the stereo developing. What are we learning here? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're learning. And what are we learning? We are learning that there are two things that we need to understand. We need to understand the way the stock trades, and I've showed you the pattern. Okay, I know sometimes you say, well, a 52 moving average and the band is shooting up, so it should keep shooting up. That's true, but I think I would add another caveat to it. What I would add to it is that you need to layer the chart analysis with the story analysis. And that's a different part. That's a difficult part because you need to make sure that you understand what the story is so that when you're looking at it, it makes sense. And the story is not written anywhere. I mean, you hear a bunch of people talking, you hear a bunch of things happening, and what I mean by the story is, was it the robo taxi that was driving this thing? No, it was the Trump trade. That's what was driving it. But you need to know it before. And of course, you need to understand that Tesla is volatile. So therefore, you just can't, buy a 1 week Tesla trade. I mean, you really 1 week call. Here at this point, with something like Tesla, I would go leap. I would go, something more than 1 year, or I would go February or January. So you have time to recoup. And that's a lesson that I've taken. If you're going to do very, very short calls or very short position, then be ready to get out if it doesn't work. You've made a call, doesn't work, get out. Make a word, doesn't work, get out. Usually, if it's going to work, my experience has been it's going to work in the morning. And you make your money in the morning. After the day happens, like yesterday, the thing shut up. I think we were up, 170% in a few minutes. I didn't ask a question. I just got out. Why? Well, because once you make 8,000% annualized, you need to annualize it so you have a vision, because you're going to say, well, I made 25%. Well, what does that mean in 3 days? Doesn't mean anything. Well, it's a lot better than 5%. Yeah, but you need to analyze it. Once you annualize it for the 8,000%, and you compare it to whatever you do. Did I take a risk? Yes, I took a risk. Is it worth it? Is it worth 8,000%? I'll never be able to quantify the risk that I took, but 8,000% is not too bad. Okay. Again, on my Patreon channel, you will see all my trades. I mean, and not only the trades, I also show you, in fact, let me give you a quick run so you see what I'm talking about, because there's a lot of information to be given. Okay. And I can't give it all to you in a short video, but if I show you my library so basically what I'll do is I'll give you economic news. I give you some technical analysis on the stock. I'll do a market commentary every morning. I will show you the trades that are happening, and I will do some fundamental stock research. You could see. Now, I am not looking again at the entire market. I am looking really at a specific set of stocks, not that many, and I try to understand them. I try to follow them. I try to see what is really going on with each stock. That I think is probably more important than anything else. So if I were to take a look at my portfolio, let me shift to my portfolio. Well, when I see my portfolio, some of the stocks that I'm following. So obviously you got Tesla, okay. You've got ACMR. I mean, I've been talking about this thing. Earnings came out fantastic, above estimate, 1%. This trade again, we'll do a recap at some point, but this is the same thing that happened um, with Tesla. Went in too soon, didn't do well, stood in it. I should have gotten out. VMC, we did well. This one was a very short trade, and you could also see the result. GCT, a bit of disappointment, a lot of disappointment. That one again. I went in this one, that one, and this one just stood in it for too long. So the idea is that what you want to do is you want to make sure that you know what's going on. And what I mean by you know what is going on is you need to know what is happening, not in the real world, because we're not in the real world, right? We're not out there making cars or whatever. We're there trying to predict the way the market is moving by understanding what it is that the market think is just happening, by understanding the story. So what is the story now, right? The story now is Trump, Tesla, good buddy, friends, great company, lots of things happening with it. But at the same time, I will tell you, there's a tremendous amount of volatility because of the tie to Trump. I will tell you that based on historical value, it is kind of undervalued, meaning that it has been higher before. P ratio is huge. I mean, Tesla, extremely volatile, you need to understand. So you need to really follow that story very close. And I will follow it for you on a daily basis on my Patreon channel. So we'll tell you this is what kind of is happening in the story of the moment. Obviously, if we see a drop, if we see some weakness, I would definitely be a buyer. When I say buyer, I'm not necessarily talking about the stock, probably talking about the options. But stock obviously is always a good deal. The only thing with the stock is the P ratio is making me very uncomfortable. Okay. And the second thing that you need to do, because you also need to understand the concept, is today we're going to have the Fed. The Fed is going to be coming to us today. So hopefully with the Fed coming in, lowering rates, that's going to provide some further. We're kind of in the honeymoon phase right now, frankly. Between Trump being elected, the uncertainty is gone. We don't have any worry about the inflation. Forget the recession. Remember all these recession talk? That was a wrong story. Now we have the honeymoon between Trump and, I'm specifically talking about Tesla here, Trump and Elon Musk. That's going to propel us for a while. So there's some position to be made here. Weaknesses, boom, you go for a call. Get out. I mean, this is a great day trading, some swing trading opportunities here. But again, remember volatility. That is the key word for today. And I'll see what happens today. We should have some interesting action. ACMR obviously should have a good day. Another name that I'm starting to follow is QQQ, because of the idea that, the SPY has been doing its thing, but not so sure if it's going to continue to do its thing. I've been quite disappointed, I will say, about the SPY. It hasn't gone anywhere. So QQQ, SPY, TSLA, ACMR, Miller is interesting, VMC as well. But these are just names. You need to associate the story with every one of these names. You need to associate the story, and that's the most important. I'm not going to tell them all today because there's a lot to the story. But anyway, so you can take all this to the bank today.